As you know, the full-on Black Ops 7 worldwide reveal is going to be happening at opening night live of Gamescom on Tuesday, August 19th, 2 PM Eastern Time, 11 AM Pacific Time, 8 PM Central Time. If you're in other time zones, just convert on Google. And it was then leaked shortly after that there will be a Call of Duty Next event at the end of September in Las Vegas, where we'll get full-on gameplay, a lot more than we get at the worldwide reveal, and we would be getting a beta sometime in October, although we don't have any confirmed or leaked dates just yet, with the release for the game being in November. But since we got that news, the Ghost of Hope has reported that the current release date planned by Activision is going to be November 14th, which is the latest Call of Duty has ever released since the very first one. Now obviously all of these leaks and rumors are subject to change, you know the drill, so we'll have to wait and see until it's actually confirmed, but this doesn't surprise me at all. Honestly, I think that they were planning to release the game in October to try and compete with the GTA 6 release, but I think because that game got delayed to next spring, they instead are giving Treyarch a bit of extra time to work with, and so they're going for a bit later release. And I think this is a good thing because Treyarch have been working on Black Ops 6 and 7 simultaneously, and thusly they probably need extra time to work on this game, and even an extra few weeks will give them a little bit of a leg up to iron out bugs and things like that. And because we are getting two Black Ops games back to back, I like that it's a little bit later. Obviously it's not a crazy difference, but it gives a bit more weight to Black Ops 6 instead of jumping ship from that game straight away. And obviously they're probably going to be doing a haunting event for season 6 of Black Ops 6 and Warzone. They're always so much fun, but if they did an October release date, it may be a bit harder to work out the schedules and stuff like that, but now this gives them adequate time to do a haunting event before transitioning to Black Ops 7. There were some prior rumors that season 6 might be cancelled, but that's because I think it was originally planned for October. I really think the GTA 6 date being pushed back is why they changed the date, personally to me. Now, there are some people angry that we're getting a beta in October because it'll only give them at maximum, you know, a few weeks to iron out bugs and listen to feedback from the beta to launch. But honestly, it's kind of that way every single year with Call of Duty. The betas are not really meant to iron out problems with the game and to listen to feedback. They're mainly meant as marketing tools to try and entice people to buy and pre-order the game. It's a shame that it's that way, but it's kind of always been this way, and I don't think this is really changing that factor. And there are also some people saying that because this is the latest release date ever, this has them concerned for Black Ops 7 because they think, you know, there's problems going on and that's why they need the extra time. And yes, that might be true, but that extra time could also end up being valuable for them. And if we look at the games that have released later on, a lot of the best Black Ops games have released later on, such as Black Ops 2 being very close to this date. So yeah, personally I'm not too concerned about this, to be honest. It does probably mean that in terms of DLC content, they probably won't be releasing stuff as quickly and as crazily as they did with Black Ops 6, because obviously we literally got Citadel Day more a few weeks after release. I'm expecting a bit more time before DLC 1 this time around because they've been crunching Black Ops 6 and 7 simultaneously. I think a lot of the Black Ops 6 Zombies content was done a while before release because they were working on this game for 4 years, and now development in the back end mostly shifted onto Black Ops 7 at Treyarch, and that probably happened a long time ago. But I think they are probably not as ahead with the DLC maps for Black Ops 7 Zombies and the multiplayer content and everything else, because I assume Black Ops 6's development was a lot more wrapped up to begin with. So maybe there's going to be a later release date for DLC 1. We might not see it until late December or potentially January like we used to get back in the day. I'm expecting them not to pump out maps as quickly as they did with Black Ops 6 and take their time more with this game, because I do think they rushed out the content too quickly for Black Ops 6. I understand why they did it, so that the game was constantly getting content and constantly having hype, and so they weren't having players drop off, but it's meant we've had a big wait for Janus Towers, DLC 4 The Reckoning, and this drought is a very hard time right now in the Zombies community, one of the longest droughts we've had. So hopefully they take their time more with releasing the DLC content for Black Ops 7 Zombies, especially with the original characters returning. I really want them to get the story and writing right, and that's something that takes time. And the narrative has been the weakest part of Black Ops 6 Zombies in my opinion, whilst the gameplay's been pretty strong, and I think maybe that could be partially because they were rushing content out and trying to balance Black Ops 6 and 7 simultaneously. And speaking of Black Ops 7 Zombies, it was recently leaked by Magua Network sources that apparently T.E.D., the bus driver from TranZit, will be returning in Black Ops 7 Zombies in some capacity. Now, he never specifies how or why, but obviously the teaser clip we got showed what looks to be some sort of headlights of a vehicle that looks eerily similar to the TranZit bus, so it could literally be for that. Now, obviously it's too murky to be able to see it clearly, so it's possible it's another vehicle different equivalent to the bus, but it would make sense to be the bus, seeing as the entirety of the old multiverse, including TranZit, got thrown into the dark ether, and TED as well. So regardless of whether TED returns on the bus or on a different vehicle or in some other capacity, it makes sense for why he would be within the dark ether, considering Black Ops 7 Zombies is going to be set in the heart of the dark ether. Could it even be a Vault Edition bonus, similar to how we had Klaus with Black Ops 6? It makes total sense. I think the Klaus and Brutus pack they did was really successful, and Klaus and TED are very similar personality-wise and even look-wise, seeing as they're both these robotic AI drones. But this leads me on to another rumor for a while ago from the Ghost of Hope, where he is saying that there'll be a straight-up TranZit remake and a Mob of the Dead remake in this game. Now, I don't know if that is true. I don't really think it makes sense to see Mob of the Dead again when we've already seen Blood of the Dead. I know they've remade maps like Shinonuma and Nakto and Totem many times over, but I don't think they would do the same for a large-scale map. These are simple maps, so it makes sense why they'd get brought back many times. Plus, what more could be done differently that they didn't already do in Blood of the Dead? And to be honest, I don't think the teaser clip we saw is a straight-up TranZit remake. I think it may have TranZit elements, such as TED, maybe even the bus, maybe it's even like a spiritual successor to Bus Through B, or a similar kind of layout where you traverse from different points of interest with the bus, but I still firmly believe it's some kind of TranZit / Liberty Falls mesh up together, because the tower we see in the distance of the trailer looks very similar to the Janus Towers for DLC 4 The Reckoning, so it could literally be in the heart of the dark ether at Liberty Falls, after the crew gets stuck in there, meet the original characters, and we have all of the points of interest, the town itself, the mansion, Colton Hall, Janus Towers, maybe even some new ones now in the dark ether. Maybe it could even have some points of interest from TranZit, such as the diner, the farm, but it's sort of bled together with Liberty Falls, because it makes sense if we're in the dark ether that it's kind of like this corrupted reality, blending different elements from that past map with a new one, or new ones, seeing as they're all taking place in the same area. But let me know, what do you think? I'm really excited to see TED back because he is so much fun, and hopefully we can learn more about his lore even. And I think now that we're going to be in the dark ether fully in Black Ops 7 Zombies, it gives so much opportunity for so many old characters, such as we're seeing the original characters back, to be returning, and so many old lore tidbits and elements and characters can be further explored and see how they've corrupted over the years inside of this realm. But that's all I have to say really regarding Black Ops 7, but interestingly enough, we then have some Call of Duty 2027 news. I can't believe we are a couple years away and we're already talking about this game. Obviously, we are rumored to be getting Modern Warfare 4 next year in 2026. DMZ will be returning with no zombies, but to be honest, I don't really care for that game. After, you know, Modern Warfare 2 and 3 weren't that good, I'm so sick and tired of modern Call of Duties, and guess what? Well, 2027, which is apparently going to be Sledgehammer Games' next game, is apparently going to be another modern Call of Duty. What the hell is going on? Now, this is again another rumor according to the Ghost of Hope. It could be incorrect, it could be subject to change or misinterpretation, etc, etc. Like I said at the start, you know the drill. However, according to him, it's not going to be Modern Warfare 5, it's instead going to be an entirely new IP, but set in modern day. But I just don't understand why, if they create a new IP, why would they do it in modern day? We've literally had more modern Call of Duty games than any other, and it's just so boring, especially because just last year we had Modern Warfare 2 and 3 back to back. These games are so boring, they all just feel exactly the same and they're so bland to look at. I understand a lot of people feel Sledgehammer did exceptionally well with the short amount of dev time they had in Modern Warfare 3 when it was supposed to be DLC for Modern Warfare 2, and they did very well with supporting it post-launch, but at the same time I'm bored of the modern setting, and it doesn't matter how well the post-launch was done for Modern Warfare 3, I just had very little interest in that game. I want to see new things, and I really believe we are in the most stagnated and stale and uncreative period for Call of Duty pretty much yet. I've been posting Call of Duty videos for a very long time, literally over 10 years now. I've seen all of the ups and downs, I've seen all of the different eras play out. I really think this is the most uncreative time, with all of the Call of Duties feeling so similar with the unified Call of Duty HQ engine. And this means that since 2019, by 2027, we will have received 5 modern Call of Duty games, 1 Cold War game, 1 World War II game, 1 90s game, 1 near future game. And since 2007, by 2027, we will have received 9 modern Call of Duty games, including COD Ghost, because whilst it technically is near future, it very much feels like a modern Call of Duty game. 3 World War II games, 3 far future games, 2 Cold War games, 2 near future games, 1 90s game. And personally, I wanted Sledgehammer Games to do something fresh, and I wanted them to do, in particular, a far future game once again. Some sort of spin-off or sequel or prequel prequel to Advanced Warfare, because this is actually what Sledgehammer have been wanting to do for a very long time. It's what they wanted to do before they ended up working on COD World War II. It's what they wanted to do before Activision forced them to make Modern Warfare 3 instead. So it makes me feel like they wanted to probably do that again, but got denied by Activision again. And apparently, Activision basically gaslit them into making Modern Warfare 3 and Vanguard back to back, because they promised them the ability to make some sort of Advanced Warfare sequel if they just grind this out in a short period of time. But now it seems like they're going back on their promises. Now, Greg Reisdorf, who was a very important figure and was the multiplayer creative director at Sledgehammer Games, recently left, and I think he's been a big key role that Sledgehammer have lost. And I wonder if a lot of the leaders at Sledgehammer have left because they just feel burnt out on how Activision keeps treating them, and now they basically no longer have anyone to say no to these higher up decisions. And it has me worried for the future of Call of Duty, because I'm not going to lie, 2 Modern Warfare games again has no interest in me at all whatsoever. That just sounds so boring to me. We literally just did that with Modern Warfare 2 and 3 and it was boring. So what, we're going to have a 2-year wait and then just do the exact same thing again? I would much prefer a futuristic game with exosuits and stuff like that. I know it would be controversial. I know especially like the Warzone fans would hate on it. I know. However, it's just 1 a year. Try something different for a year. People got tired of the advanced movement back in the day and the futuristic Call of Duties because we got 3 back to back. But I think people are getting tired of the modern era Call of Duties as well, because again, we just keep seeing them back to back. So I think it's about time to get something different for a year. And what's the worst that can happen? The game underperforms, so what? Then they can go back to the regular boots on the ground a year after. It's just a one-off. Why not take that risk? It's because they never want to risk shareholder revenue dipping. Now, according to the Ghost of Hope, there's been some other leaks where apparently there's not going to be any zombies in this game. Sledgehammer are not working on anything currently, and it doesn't seem Treyarch are. Now, obviously the game is a couple years away, so zombies might just have not gone into development yet, and it could in the future. Obviously, with both Vanguard and Modern Warfare Zombies, according to rumors and according to just the state of the bare bones nature of both of these modes, it's clear Vanguard Zombies and Modern Warfare Zombies were rushed out very short before release. Vanguard Zombies especially. Modern Warfare Zombies probably had more dev time. I would imagine like a year or so, whereas Vanguard Zombies probably literally got like 4 months. With Modern Warfare Zombies though, the main problem was Treyarch stepped off post-launch, so they couldn't support it adequately. It had a decent amount of content there on release though. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Treyarch get forced to work on zombies for whatever this new IP that Sledgehammer are working on again, because while Sledgehammer might not be planning a zombies mode, literally a year before the game releases, so basically in a year's time from now, Activision may say, well, we definitely need zombies for this because we need to boost their sales and we're going to miss out on a load of players who buy Call of Duty just for zombies, and so get Treyarch to work on a last minute zombies mode again. I just don't think it's happening yet because Treyarch have had way too much on their plate. I think they are probably behind on Black Ops 7 because they've been trying to juggle 2 games at once, which they've literally never had to do before. No studio has ever had to do before. Even with Modern Warfare 2 and 3 back to back, Infinity Ward were the main studio on Modern Warfare 2, Sledgehammer were the main studio on Modern Warfare 3, whereas Treyarch are the main studios on both Black Ops 6 and 7. This is unprecedented times for Call of Duty. I think they don't even really have the time or energy or resources to even think about what zombies project they're going to be working on next, because they need to just focus on making sure the launch of Black Ops 7 is good. So we'll probably know more in a year if leaks end up happening that Treyarch are forced to work on a zombies mode, but I really hope it doesn't happen. I know there's some people saying that they don't want to see a drought for zombies. Zombies doesn't need a break period, it's not oversaturated, it's not burnt out. However, every time Treyarch have been forced to work on zombies modes in short periods of time, they have not been good for the zombies brand. People felt very burnt out by Vanguard Zombies especially, and even with Black Ops 6, I don't think it's brought in really any new players to the franchise. It's an improved version of Cold War, but I think the narrative really lets it down, and I think that's because they were working on Black Ops 6 and 7 simultaneously. So I really think Treyarch should just stick to making a zombies mode every 3 years when it's their main zombies release, because I think then they can do their optimum work and they can just focus on one project at once instead of spreading out their resources across many different ones. And then people say, well, we want Sledgehammer to have a crack at making their own zombies mode again, like they did with World War II Zombies, or like Infinity Ward did with Infinite Warfare Zombies. But speaking of Greg Reisdorf, he also recently said the reason why Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward never tried to make their own zombies mode again, although Sledgehammer did help out with Vanguard and Modern Warfare Zombies, but they weren't the main studio, is because Infinite Warfare Zombies and World War II Zombies both underperformed, and so they're basically not given the risk again, because if they do put a lot of resources into it, that could be, you know, potentially billions lost. I don't think it would be billions, I think it would probably be millions lost, but hundreds of millions potentially if it's unsuccessful. But this is confirmed performed now. I know people say, well, in hindsight, people like The Final Reich, they like Zombies in Spaceland. Yes, but that's in hindsight, and that's a very niche community. The amount of Zombies fans that go back and play these old games is a niche community that mainly exists on Twitter and YouTube. It might seem like it's a large proportion of players, but most of the general fans are not here constantly on social media, so I don't think you're seeing a fair representation of the actual story. And if a developer literally is saying here they underperformed, then they underperformed. And this is why I think Sledgehammer will not make a Zombies mode and have not been making Zombies mode since World War II, because they've underperformed. But at the same time, Vanguard Zombies especially underperformed. It's definitely the weakest Zombies entry, and Modern Warfare Zombies, whilst it had a good launch, obviously underperformed a lot in its post-launch because they could not sustain it, because Treyarch had to focus on Black Ops 6 instead. So you could argue the same thing. Well, if these modes underperformed when Treyarch were working on Zombies modes and when they were rushed in non-Treyarch games, then why would they be greenlit again? And that's a fair assumption to make, and that might be true. Maybe that's why we don't see a Zombies mode in COD 2027, because Sledgehammer don't want to do it and Treyarch might not want to do it because both attempts have not worked out. So yeah, I understand why people want studios to do their own takes on Zombies, but I just don't think the studios want to do it. I think if Sledgehammer really wanted to do a Zombies mode, they would do it. I just don't think the motivation is there because the last one underperformed, and you've got to bear in mind, it's been a long time since World War II released. It came out in like, what, 2017? It's been 8 years. It'll be 10 years by the time that Sledgehammer's next game comes out. Most of the developers who worked on that mode have left Sledgehammer a long time ago, and so you don't even have developers there who have experience with the Zombies, so it makes sense why they're not even going to attempt it. Now, according to the Ghost of Hope, instead Sledgehammer are going to be making the Get High mode again, but I think it's going to be a lot more substantial, and this is going to be their main attempt as a third mode. However, I don't really know how this could work as a third mode, to be honest. It doesn't seem substantial enough. It's just a fun little bonus mode, but maybe they could scale it out a lot so it's a lot more replayable and is some sort of competitor to Zombies or DMZ as a third iteration. So this might mean we get a Zombies drought for 2 years, and honestly, I want this. I want a 3-year break for the next Treyarch Zombies game. So we might not get it until 2028 when Treyarch make Black Ops 8 or whatever it ends up being. And honestly, that's kind of good for me. I do think that Zombies should take a break. I do think burnout is real amongst Zombies because we've just been getting so much mediocre content. Yes, people say, well, Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward did great with their own versions of Zombies and they were just their first attempts. Whilst you are correct, I don't fully agree. I think Zombies in Spaceland and The Final Reich are strong launch maps for both modes, but ultimately they didn't perform well enough, and it's clear in both the post launches for Infinite Warfare Zombies and World War II Zombies, the quality dropped off massively. It just got worse and worse as the DLC continued, and the fans dropped off massively as the DLC's seasons progressed. So people were not engaged, and I really think probably the same would happen again if they tried the Zombies again. You know, they might have a good launch map, but the DLC will probably trickle off in quality like we saw before. The only times we've seen Zombies in non-Treyarch games, whether it's the own studios making them or whether it's Treyarch helping out, they have not received as much support as when it's been Treyarch's main game. Therefore, I don't think they should be done because Treyarch need to focus on their own things, and I think it hurts the Zombies brand because when they don't have enough time and resources, they release mediocre projects. Yes, there are great things like The Final Reich, like Zombies in Spaceland, even Raven the Redwoods is good, and they did do lots of innovative things with World War II Zombies and Infinite Warfare Zombies to separate them apart from Treyarch Zombies, but in my opinion, they didn't do enough, and that's why they didn't get a second chance. And Treyarch, when they've worked on Zombies in games that aren't theirs, again, they have not been able to do enough because they literally couldn't because they had such short dev time. Treyarch are obviously the studio that has the most amount of studios that have worked on Zombies before and have the most experience, so I think they should be the only ones doing Zombies. It's not that I don't want the other studios to, I do, but only in a scenario where they can get enough resources, and I just don't believe they can. I think they might be able to for launch, but I think they'll get budget cuts post-launch like what happened with Infinite Warfare and World War II. So yeah, Treyarch just need to focus on their own things, make Zombies every 3 years, and I think the other studios should do their own things, but I think they should try new things like Extinction or like DMZ, create something brand new, because you never know, it could create a new spark that ends up being something even more successful than Zombies. You never know unless you try. And the problem is, the studios just don't want to take risks anymore. The Activision execs and shareholders at Microsoft don't want to take risks anymore because there's too much on the line for their shareholders. Oh, how will the shareholders ever recover losing some goddamn money? And this is stifling innovation. They never want to risk even slight drops in revenue, and so they always just play it safe. They do what has worked time and time again. But the problem is, Zombies, when it was originally concepted, was a risk. Treyarch feared backlash with it in World at War, and yet it spiraled into something as a monolith, as a success. So yeah, playing it safe can increase revenue year on year, as they have been doing very successfully, especially now they make so much goddamn money with these stupid ass bundles and microtransactions and people eating up this slop. And I think that's probably why they take less risks nowadays, because the microtransactions sell so well, they have to worry less about the actual quality. But at the same time, there could be a gem waiting to be unlocked to make them even more money, but they don't want to take that risk. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, are you fine with Zombies taking a break? I personally am, like I said, I think it needs it. In terms of what I will do if there is a break for 2 years for Zombies, in terms of my content, well, I don't really know. Obviously, I'm going to be covering Black Ops 7 all next year, and who knows, Black Ops 7 Zombies might even get like a DLC 5 or extra content after its post-launch, but I'm not expecting anything really that substantial. But if there is a Zombies drought, I think they should at least do some kind of content like they did the Super Easter egg in Cold War a year after release, but I don't think there's going to be anything major. It would be nice for them to do that, but the current Call of Duty formula is seasonal and they want you buying and playing the latest Call of Duties and buying the latest battle passes, so I don't think Activision would ever approve it, even if Treyarch want to do it during the drought, like they did with Zombies Chronicles initially, especially now that DLC is free. They don't want to take players away from the main Call of Duty and Modern Warfare 4, but I could definitely see Zombies ending up in COD 2027 and Treyarch just not having started on anything and them not having any plans yet, but might get asked to do it in like a year or so. I don't know what I would do with my channel during then. Maybe honestly I need to take a break from Zombies for once because I've been going hard at it for years. We'll have to see how Black Ops 7 plays out really to make any judgments like that. The only other leak from the Ghost of Hope regarding COD 2027 is he says there's going to be some sort of martial arts, karate chopping and karate kicks abilities, which sounds crazy, and apparently movement's going to be a big focus for this game. Now I don't know how I feel about this. It kind of sounds like a bit of a gimmick. I guess it could be fun. We'll have to see how it all plays out though, but since it'll be a modern game, it probably won't be that different movement wise, and I really don't know how Sledgehammer can create a unique modern experience in a new IP. I don't know if the new IP will be tied to the Modern Warfare franchise, because I know Infinity Ward said they wanted to do Modern Warfare spin-offs before, you know, such as a Ghost prequel. It wouldn't surprise me if Sledgehammer don't really do a true new IP, but it is tied into the Modern Warfare universe with some side characters like Alejandro. For example, like Modern Warfare 3 was originally going to be all surrounding the Mexican drug cartel and Alejandro and Valeria, but that got reworked and ended up being a bigger scale story with Makarov in Urzikstan. Yeah, I don't know what Sledgehammer can concoct to make it unique and how they can separate Modern Warfare 4 and this new Sledgehammer IP apart. I really don't know, but I'm not interested at all. This is me so bummed out for the future of Call of Duty. COD 2026 and 2027 might be the hardest time to be a Call of Duty fan, as a Zombies fan especially. It's just going to be so bland, and yeah, we'll have to see how things play out, but honestly I may really consider trying to do new things on the channel during that time, or maybe even do other channels, because I'm just not interested in really covering this stuff at all. Before, when we've had breaks from Zombies, it's only been like a year, at least in recent years, and even then I've been more interested in the main game, but now I'm really burnt out on modern Call of Duties, and the fact we might be getting 2 in a row with no zombies and no co-op mode that I'm interested in, because I don't really care for DMZ or Get High. I want to see something otherworldly like Extinction, so I have no interest in this really at all. So we'll have to see how it all plays out, but let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not, if you like some great Call of Duty news information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.